Morning, everyone. Hope you guys are super well. Hope you are encouraged and looking forward to stage 4, whatever that particularly looks like in your field. Just quickly a shout out to Stu and to Kerry for their amazing devotionals they've done over the last couple of days. It's really been fun teaming together as a team, and I probably don't say it enough, but guys, the leadership team at this church are an incredible bunch of people. They pray for you guys regularly. We meet at least once a week, and oftentimes more than that, just to talk through the church and where people are at, and to see what we can do to help and to be more involved. So really want to honor them. That leadership team is, it's an incredible privilege for Cindy and I to be able to lead that team, but also just to be on the ground with them and see their hearts and see how much they love people. It's a real privilege when you lead with a tight-knit group of people like that who really care. It gives us a bigger picture of how God sees team and how he sees us together. And that's kind of a little bit of what I want to talk about today. In our text today, 1 Samuel 22, it says, "From there David went to Mizpah in Moab and said to the king of Moab, 'Would you let my father and mother come and stay with you until I learn what God will do for me?' So he left them with the king of Moab, and they stayed with him as long as David was in the stronghold." So David shows this amazing heart here where he's not just so focused on his mission, okay, God has called me, I'm the king, the future king. But then at the same time, like now I'm on the run from Saul, so I'm trying to make a plan, what's God doing? Even in amidst the pressure and all the stuff that David's experiencing, he still takes the time to go, what about my mom and dad? I want to make provision for my mom and dad. I want to make sure that they're safe and that they're provided for. And just talking about team, I think it's incredibly important in the church for us to understand that God doesn't see multi-generations or the different age groups in the church as these little subdivided groups. It's something that we've done as the church. So we have our children's church, and we've got our babies room, and then our little sort of toddlers classes, and then our children's church, and then our tweens, and then our teens, and then our youth group, maybe, and then our 20s group, and then maybe our married with children, and then later on retirees or whatever. And we tend to subdivide people into generations because generations are quite clearly demarcated in society nowadays. But when God looks at the church, he just sees people. And he sees oneness, and he sees the fact that older people in whatever their ages have something incredible to bring to the church and to be able to bless the church with and should be cared for and taken care of. And younger people as well have got this energy and this life and this vitality that they bring to the church. And they too should be cared for and loved. And so God is quite specific the way he talks to things. When he's talking to us at the moment, I think just on a physical level, talking about moms and dads, in Exodus 20, he says, "Honor your father and mother so that you may live long in the land. You may live long in the land the Lord is giving you." Now, I've been thinking a lot about this thing of thanksgiving and encouragement. And thanksgiving is one side of the coin where I live thankful for whatever the thing is, but particularly this morning for the people around me, for our leadership team here at Center Church. But also, I've been thinking this morning when I read that about the people who have mentored me and the people who've poured their lives into my life so that I can become the person that I've become. But thankfulness is almost self-indulgent because when I'm thankful, it encourages me. I believe that if thankfulness never bubbles over into encouragement, it never reaches its full end. And Hebrews 10:24 says, "Let us consider how we may spur one another on towards love and good deeds." And so what I'm going to be doing during the course of the day today, I've been praying for a few of the people who've mentored me and encouraged me over the course of my life, just to remember them, because I do think in this season, a lot of people we are concerned about, are people provided for food-wise? Are people provided for sanity-wise in their home? But what about encouragement? And what about being able to tell people, you know what, you've had an amazing impact on my life. Thank you for what you've done. I think it would be beautiful if we could take a moment this morning before God to say, Lord, who do you want me to encourage? Who are the mothers and fathers, in a sense, like David? Who are the mothers and fathers that I can reach out to this morning? And just send them a message and say, you know what, thank you for everything you've poured into my life. That there's almost this web or this network of encouragement that just spreads out this morning across the country or globally, depending on where the people are that you've encouraged or that have encouraged you. And just see people spurred on. The last thing I just wanted to quickly mention was Paul says in 1 Timothy chapter 5, he talks about this multi-generational thing. He says, "Do not rebuke an older man harshly, but exhort him as if he were your brother. Treat younger men as brothers, older women as mothers, and younger women as sisters with absolute purity." And so when Paul's writing, he's saying to us, like, we've got this multi-generational understanding, and we've subdivided. But when God looks at the church, like I said, he just sees one church. And there's a way that we interact with one another, and we bring something to the table where he says that older men, when you look at younger men, don't treat them like sons. Treat them like brothers. Raise them up. Give them authority. Give them space. And younger men, treat older men like fathers and go to them for advice and be able to speak to them. I think that there is a little bit more time for us to have conversations at the moment. And this is a great time, if you maybe a little bit older and you've had a little bit more experience, to reach out and to be able to encourage those who are younger and to be able to call them higher. And for those who are younger, to be able to ask for advice and talk and get counsel. We've got a young guy, Bricks, in one of our Connect groups. He is the youngest guy by a long way in his Connect group. I think Bricks is in his late 20s. I think the next couple in his Connect group are in their 40s, and then it goes up from there. But Briggs has said it's just a wonderful forum for him to be in, just to be able to see what healthy marriages look like, to be able to get counsel and advice in his business. And I think it's a beautiful reflection of what the church should look like. And so can I encourage you today to, let's reach out. I know I keep banging on this same drum, but let's reach out and speak to others. Let's speak to those who've mentored us. Let's encourage them and say, thank you so much for what you've done. And if you're older, like, maybe look for those that you can mentor. Please don't presume that no one wants to hear your voice. Presume to speak. Drop a message, send a voice note, whatever, just to encourage and to call each other higher. Because at the moment, it's so easy for our worlds to become so insular. But I believe when God looks, he looks at David, and David goes, I'm going to look after my mom and dad. I want to make sure that they're provided for. Right now, there's a way that we can provide for one another by allowing our thanksgiving to overflow into encouragement. We'll see you tomorrow morning.